Why Jeff Saturday?
Okay.
Are you saying, okay, is it just a total tank job? Is this, he sees something in Jeff Saturday? Because I guess Jeff Saturday said right after he retired that Irsay offered him a front office position.
Right.
He could have any time he wanted. So obviously, clearly respects Jeff Saturday. What is it? How does Jim Irsay come to, I'm going to hire a guy who has zero coaching experience in college or the NFL? Why did the Colts make this hire, which literally has not happened since at least 1961?
Perfectly good question. I don't think anyone but Jim has that answer, but there are theories. Jim is close to Jeff, has been obviously since Jeff was, played for the Colts all those years and was a great player. He always thought he was a really smart guy. He's been consulting for the Colts now for a couple of years. Now, he was there in training camp briefly. That word consulting is interesting because you hear stories later, and I'll give you an example. Jerry Richardson, when he replaced Dave Gettleman with Marty Herney, okay? After Herney had been through the Panthers organization before, and they moved on, and then all of a sudden they circle back and they bring Marty Herney back in as general manager. Someone said to me, oh, well, he's been consulting for a while. I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, he's talking to Jerry. He's like, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like the guy with the good ideas. And then, when you're pissed off at your GM, you're like, I'm going to go and get this other guy with the good ideas. I think, could Jeff Saturday potentially be that guy who he watches on TV, who he listens to on the radio, who he has a personal relationship with, and by the way, who is beloved in the city of Indianapolis? I think it is him reaching for an outside the box shot and saying, worst case scenario here, we lose out and we end up getting the quarterback that we ultimately need. And then we figure out what we want to do with the coaching spot. My question to you is, what if this is the Josh McCown situation in Houston, which obviously didn't end up happening because of the lawsuit from Brian Flores, but I think Josh McCown would have almost certainly been the head coach of the Houston Texans. Instead, it became Lovie Smith. What if this is like a Josh McCown situation where Irsay's like that guy, he's smart, and I think he's an outside-the-box candidate. I'm going to take my shot here. And what if this is actually a permanent hire and they're trying to play it off like it's not?
What if this works? I have been, and we've talked about this, very much an advocate for the CEO head coach. I don't like play callers. The NFL for decades has been doing the whole this is our template. We hire a great play caller. He comes aboard. Usually these guys are in over their heads calling plays. They give up play calling. And then you're like, what has he got the job for anyway? His only strength was as a play caller. There's a reason Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh are two of the best coaches in the NFL.
Right. Yep.
These guys were not coordinators. They were just leaders. They were CEOs. They understand the game really well. They delegate to coordinators. What if this works? What if it's not out of the realm of possibility to Jeff Saturday, who by all accounts, like you said, beloved, a great leader. A guy who knows the game, obviously. He played it at an incredibly high level. He's been commenting on it and all that kind of stuff. What if it works? It's at least possible. And then, I guess Irsay would be vindicated at the end. If they go 6-2 the rest of the way, as crazy as that sounds to say it out loud, he'd be the permanent guy, right? That probably happens. It's at least within the realm of possibility. It's not like the Colts team has no talent at all. I think one thing we do have to talk about, you have so many black coaches at all levels of football. Reggie Wayne is right there on staff. In this league that's dying for diversity in hires, why not give a shot to a black coach? Even if he goes 0-8, he still gets valuable experience. Maybe another team looks at him and says, Reggie Wayne, I hadn't really thought about him in this way. I like this. Let's bring him in for an interview. Let's see what he's all about. It would just be an invaluable experience. And there have to be coaches, black and white, who are sitting around saying, I can't get my foot in the door, but Jeff Saturday waltzes past the velvet rope and he gets a job to coach the Indianapolis Colts the rest of the season. I think that's a fail by Jim Irsay. I really do.